Well, it's a touchy subject, aging parents and driving. Joining me now with tips on bringing it up is Charyna with Home Instead Senior Care. Thanks so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
So when should you become concerned? Are there some warning signs you should be looking for?
Well, sure. I mean, if our parents are starting to not drive in the evenings, avoid busy sections, perhaps there's dents on the car that can't be explained, those might be warning signs indeed.
So once you see those warning signs, how do we go about this? How do we start this? You don't want to just take those keys away.
Yeah, well, I brought some keys, yeah. But, you know, before we even start there, I think we have to back up and say, and hopefully we've had some conversations already with our parents to assure them that their wishes, their goals are what we all want. Most people, I mean, keys represent independence. They represent, you know, everything that I'm able to do on my own. And if the keys get taken away, then we fear that the next step is I'm going to end up in a place I don't want to be. So families have to assure their parents, you know what, let's talk about where do you want to live? If you want to stay at home, let's make plans and let's talk to people that can tell us about our options to stay at home successfully.
Yeah, because just because you're taking away the car key doesn't mean you're taking away all the keys. They can still live at home, have their independence to whatever, I guess, level they need. Some may need an in-care nurse, something like that, but they might be able to stay at home.
Yeah, just a little extra support. And I think, you know, taking away the keys almost sounds like pulling the plug. Like it's really that emotional and that charged. I think before we want to take away keys, we want to see, are there any other things that we can do to facilitate driving? Sometimes it's simply a medical checkup if we haven't had one for a while. Sometimes it's some modification in driving. So SGI can be very helpful there. Their website is excellent in terms of just guidance for families to figure out, okay, what can we do here to help our person continue driving if that's possible?
Yeah, so do all of those steps. If those don't work, having that conversation about how we're not taking away your independence, just the car key.
Yeah, making plans in advance is always a good thing, and we love talking with families to say, you know what, there are many options to help your person stay independent and at home for longer.
So what are there other options if we do take away their car keys? You know, it can be a little grueling to take city transit.
So some people, you know, most kids would say, you know what, Mom, Dad, if you have evening activities, let's plan ahead. We'll take you. We want to make sure you get there. We don't want you to miss out. You know, there are neighbors, there are other people, but a lot of seniors, a lot of folks, I mean, I think I always try to put myself in that place. Like, how would I feel about asking, you know, my kids for rides all the time, or the neighbors? And, you know, maybe a little bit, but surely there are other ways where I can be independent. And I think that's where our company, others like what we do, can come alongside and say, you know what, incidental transportation is certainly part of it. We're free to take you wherever you need to go.
And do you have any information sessions or anything coming up if people need some advice?
Well, we're available to talk anytime, but we do want to point people to the website. Let's talk about driving.ca. Just a great resource, all kinds of tools and tips to help that conversation progress.
It can be definitely a difficult conversation, but one that needs to be had. Thank you so much for coming in and giving some advice.
You're very welcome.